This episode of American Landlord, a Tenant horror story, is presented by RealSerious.com, where you can screen tenants 24 hours a day. An elderly woman had been holding on to a second home that was starting to show signs of its age. It had been in the family for about 50 years, and now she was interested in having a tenant help take care of it, because it was just too much of a chore for her to handle. It's not that major repairs were needed, it was just the light stuff like painting, gutter cleaning, replacing insulation, and so on. And that's when she encountered a young couple with a few kids that were interested in the property. The young husband agreed to take care of the maintenance as long as there was an exchange for a reduction in rent. So a deal was struck, and for the first several months everything seemed to be going okay. The rent was paid and there was no complaints. But oddly, after a year had passed, the elderly woman received a notice from the city. Apparently, the neighbors around the rental home had started to complain about bad odors coming from the property, and even made remarks about seeing rodents and a messy, overgrown yard. Unfortunately, the elderly woman wasn't one to get out often and perform inspections, so this was news to her. As a result, she immediately picked up the phone and contacted the husband to inquire what was going on at the house. Well, he blamed the neighbors for having some grievance with his kids, and he told her it was nothing to worry about. Well, to her, his explanation seemed plausible. After all, the complaints didn't seem that serious. I mean, could a house really smell that bad? So she took his word for it. But then the school started getting involved. Apparently, the kids did not bathe often or have enough food because they were infested with lice and got caught stealing lunch from other students in the cafeteria. At that point, a police officer was then dispatched to visit the house to do a wellness check regarding the kids. And as soon as the policeman pulled up, he noted a foul stench in the air. So he approached the house, knocked on the door, and as the husband opened it, the police officer witnessed a cockroach crawling across the man's face. That's right, a cockroach. It's actually noted in the damn police report. This place was trashed. Everything, the moldy walls, the rotten food thrown about, and the carpeting that was now a sandbox of old ground up dog shit. And the kids, the poor kids that were starving and suffering from malnutrition. But hey, luckily the parents provided a mattress for them on the floor so they could get a good night's sleep next to the pest-infested trash. It was a true tenant horror story. Needless to say, the kids were immediately saved, but sadly, the house couldn't be. The damage from all of the waste and neglect was just too extensive. So this family home of over 50 years had to be demolished down to the ground just after a year of bad parenting. But hey, how about that cockroach?